My general answer to that is, I don't know. Sorry. Because I really don't know who they think I am, and it's really not my responsibility to engage and educate the public at large. If they persist, I'll tell them I'm in a band called Anthrax. Sometimes that confuses them even more because they only remember seeing me as a talking head on some TV program and have no idea about the band. I'm very polite, mind you. I can only hope someone may be curious about Anthrax and go home and check it out. Sometimes the recognition is stronger and the person will know I am in a band. Here's an actual conversation. A dude in the airport. Hey, hey, hey! You're that guy in that band, aren't you? You're in a band, right? Me. I am. Dude in the airport. Which band? Me. I'm in Anthrax. Dude in the airport. Nope, that's not it. So, hey, how's it going, Internet? My name is Scott Ian, and I was just reading to Rohan from my book, because this is what we do every Sunday. We come over and drink coffee, and I read to him.
Yeah.
Because he never learned how to read. It's a very sad story.
And I've always wanted access all areas, so it's like a dream.
I'm going to lose my glasses now. So yeah, we're here. This is a live signing. You probably know that unless somehow you just stumbled across this looking for porn. This is a live signing. I'm here with my brand new book, Access All Areas, Stories from a Hard Rock Life. And this is where I'm going to be signing books and taking questions and signing books and taking more questions. Maybe even calling some of you people if you're really nice to me and send me your phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get the book at scottianbook.com. So if you're watching this, that's where you go. Go to scottianbook.com. That's SCOTTIANBOOK.com. Head over there, order your book, ask a question, and you may even get it answered right here on this new TV show that you're watching.
Right.
We're actually going to pitch this afterwards. We figured we could do this at least once a week. It's got to be more interesting than most of the shit that's on television, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's all we got. We're just going to sit here and wait now.
See ya. No. Hey, everyone.
This is Rohan.
Hello. Yeah, it's good.
We're good friends. We're friends. Everything in Anthrax world that you see online, it's because of this man right here.
Yeah, sometimes that's good. Most of the time. So some of you have already bought signed copies of the book and submitted questions. We're going to go through those in a bit. And Scott's going to, point out some of the fun stuff in, that's in this new book and all this, the new stories that have come out. So I guess the first question is, Scott, why a second book? What led to you putting out more stories?
Why a second book? Well, it's what we authors do, Rohan. We write books.
Indeed.
I'm only half kidding. I feel like I have a lot of shit to talk about. I feel like, and in a weird way, and I hope this doesn't come off like too self-indulgent or weird, but I do feel like these stories and things I have inside of me in my brain and things I have to say, other people will actually be interested in. I'm not one of these people that thinks like, oh, everything I have to say is super important. But at the same time, I've had a pretty crazy life. And I think a lot of the tales and stories in this book are funny enough to me and interesting enough to me where I actually do think other people will be interested. And now I actually do have proof as well. I'm not just talking out of my ass. We're going to turn this into it. I actually have proof, people out there. It's like an infomercial now. I go and I've told a lot of these stories live at my talking shows. Not at all the stories in the book, but just a couple of them. And I've tested them in front of live audiences, and hundreds of people laugh in all the right places. So I know that inherently these stories are funny enough that I think people are really going to connect with them the same way I do when I'm telling them or writing them. There's just a lot of really crazy stuff going on in this book.
Do you have a filter where you have experienced certain things being with your crazy life for the last 36 years, and then you think, I better not share that one? Or do you keep stuff for yourself, or is it just this is a public kind of life, and here's what happens.
Well, certainly on the first book, on I'm the Man, which is an autobiography, so I wanted to be as honest as possible, because if you're telling your life story and you're lying, well, what's the point of that? I suppose a lot of people probably do, but I have no problem pointing the finger at myself and being the idiot. That's never been my problem. If you've seen me on stage, you know that. But same thing in this book. These are all true stories. I don't need to embellish because most of the stories are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And with me at the center of them being an idiot and sometimes drunk. Actually, a lot of it in the 90s, I was pretty drunk, which tends to make for lots of hilarity. The only thing I won't do in these books is I'm not going to out anybody in these books. Like I'm not gonna tell stories. I know a lot of stories about a lot of people, and stories that probably they wouldn't want out there. But the reason I won't tell them is because they're not my stories. Like unless I'm personally involved in something, and it's like a story that I was a part of, it's not my place to tell it. That's someone else's. It's their story to tell. So if there's something that's going to shine a real negative light on somebody, I have to either wait till I retire, or call that person and say, hey, are you cool with this? Or three, just, it's not my story. And that's kind of the line I walk, is if it's not my story to tell, it's not my story to tell.
Right.
Now I'm going to sign this book, my super cool book that I've been using as my prop and that I actually read from. See here? I'm going to sign right here on that page.
A live
book signing right here. I'm going to sign my name.
There it is. Amazing. Look at that.
Look at that. I could sign my name. After all these years, I can still do it.
A few of them didn't work earlier, but it's back now.
Okay, let me pass that off.
The signing arm is back. It's like a throwing arm. You have to condition it.
That signed book right there was actually for Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. He was the first one to order one. That's right, Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl on Walking Dead. Well, he's a friend and loves the band and all that. And it says right here on this thing, make sure you tell everyone the first book was for Norman Reedus, and that people will get excited.
So for everyone that has read I'm the Man, which there are a bunch of you out there, that one is more your life story. This is I was a kid, and then the band and everything that's happened. How is this different to that?
Well, it's not an autobiography. It's 23. I always want to grab the book when I'm talking about it. It's 23 standalone stories, 23 stories. I mean, the autobiography, obviously, yes, it's a life story. It kind of starts from conception and it finishes at Yankee Stadium, if I remember correctly, on the Big Four show.
Yep.
So lots happened since 2011, but I decided not to just pick up from there, but instead tell all of these killer stories that I've had. For example, I'm going to go through the table of contents here in the book, give you an idea of some of the wonderful stories. Oh, there's a story called Meet Me Under Ace Frehley, which is my story of New York in 1977, the New York of such movies as Taxi Driver, a very Martin Scorsese type New York City that I grew up in, and going to concerts and becoming obsessed with Kiss, seeing them at Madison Square Garden in December of 1977, and never, ever, ever straying from that path ever since I saw that show those 40 years ago. Oh, there's a story called Fruit Loops, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Rohan, go ahead, ask that question.
So, there are already a bunch of questions that have been submitted. So let's say, there's hundreds and hundreds. Let's say there's 500 questions here. 485 of them are, what's your craziest story? What's your craziest tour story? So we can take care of all of them at once.
Yes.
What's your craziest tour story?
My craziest tour story of all time. It's in this book, Scotty and Access All Areas. Stories from a Hard Rock Life. There's a tale called Fruit Loops. Now, by just hearing that title, you might not think, that doesn't sound too crazy, Fruit Loops. Yeah. But it's the context that the Fruit Loops were used in. And I don't want to give away too much because I'm not here to spoil the book, although we are going to spoil the end of Star Wars Last Jedi on this. So at some point,
Yeah.
the best part is when they fight the Avengers. It's insane.
It's amazing.
Because they're all owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So
and then
it's,
the digital shark comes in.
yeah, it's just nuts. Anyway, Fruit Loops. I digress. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen on tour, and it took place backstage at a Nine Inch Nails show at Madison Square Garden in the early '90s. It was on their oh Jesus, total brain fart. That's why it's good to have a. Well, it doesn't really matter which tour it was, but it was the early '90s, and I heard that there was some weird stuff going down backstage. I was with a friend of mine, Jennifer, and we walked into this dressing room, and we got to witness what could only be described as an enema contest. And that's really all I'm going to say about it, because I don't really want to give up too much more. But yeah, you could probably start putting two and two together with the title of the story and the fact that I said enema contest. It was the Self-Destruct Tour, aptly named tour in 1994, because they were playing every night like they were like going to jail the next day or something, because they were amazing. Like they really left it all hanging out there on stage. I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan, in case you didn't know. But yeah, backstage that night, it was the weirdest, craziest, sickest, most depraved thing. I'm not proud of it.
Rock and roll.
And yeah, I'm not proud of what I witnessed when you read this story, and I kind of talk about that a little bit. But that's my thing. That's my after the fact. I did feel like I needed a shower and a drink, 2 drinks maybe, and it was it's something that I have. Obviously, I can't unsee it, and it kind of pops up in my head every once in a while. And when you read this story, then you'll never be able to unsee it either, because I really tell it, and it's very cinematic, and I really put you in that weird room with me, witnessing something that really nobody ever really wants to see. Now you want to see it, don't you? Well, you can, because I read all about it in my new book.
Do you feel that era of excess mayhem, backstage craziness and all that, do you feel like that's all been done with now? I mean, is it all over for that world?
I think in a still bands out there drinking and having fun and raging and partying, but I think there's a level certainly that existed in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and maybe even into the 2000s, that a decade on from that now, here in like 2017, certainly doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
There is a level of that people just don't go, they don't cross. There's a certain line of partying that doesn't get crossed anymore. And in some ways that's good.
Yeah.
You know, obviously if less people are doing hard drugs, that's a good thing. But it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You know, look, I don't support any type of obviously violence against women or violence against anybody. So if that stuff is done, that's a good thing too. But there is an air of political correctness these days,
right,
that seemed to have come around in the last year or so, that drives me nuts. And because I don't think things need to be too politically correct, and at the same time, I don't think things should be just off the wall anarchy either. So, you know, somewhere in the middle is good, and that's kind of how it was certainly for us in the 80s.
Yeah.
And when you read a lot of these stories, you'll see there was a hell of a lot of booze involved in a lot of this stuff. But it was all based in fun. Yeah. And nobody, well, some people got hurt.
So the moral
a few people got hurt. Michael Stipe got hurt, actually.
The moral is you have to give your consent for an enema competition.
Yes.
That's basically.
And it was all consensual.
Make sure you're okay.
I may not have, if I didn't say that in the book, it was absolutely consensual. And everybody was of age.
Yeah.
And, you know, so there could be no charges of sexual harassment.
Right. No. So at the Grove the other day, you were at a bookstore.
Yes.
And someone came up to you and said, what? This is 2 days ago.
I was standing in a bookstore at the Grove here in LA. It's like a big kind of outdoor mall experience. And I was standing in a giant bookstore chain. Can I mention the name of it? Does it matter? Yeah, I was standing in Barnes & Noble because we actually went in. We had some time to kill. We were going to see Santa Claus with my son, and we went in there to look around. And I said, "Oh yeah, wait a minute, my book is out. Let's see if they have it." And there it was on this table right up front, in good company, right next to Nikki Sixx's book and Anthony Kiedis's book and Art Garfunkel's book and all kinds of rad music books right there on the same table. So I pick up my book, and it always makes me happy to see it out and in a store. It's kind of a proud papa moment there. And I'm gonna buy one, because anything I've ever been a part of that has come out for public consumption, I buy one. Every record Anthrax has ever made, everything I've ever done, I buy one. I buy at least one of, and put it away. And so I pick up a copy to buy it, and I'm just kind of standing there, and this guy comes walking up to me. And, he kind of looks and looks again, and I'm looking at him, and he says, anyone ever tell you look just like Scott Ian from Anthrax? I'm literally standing there holding this. And I just looked at him, I said, I know, I get that all the time. And then I walked away and paid for my book.
So, yeah.
I can only hope he walked over, looked at the book, and said, oh, that asshole.
Yeah.
I could have got my book signed. And guess what? If you're out there watching it, dude from Barnes & Noble, now you can get your book signed, because that's what I'm doing here. Right? I'm actually going to sign this.
So if you sign some books...
This is for the guy. I'm not going to personalize it, but this is for that guy from Barnes & Noble. In case you're watching, I got one for you right here.
That said he looks really, really similar to
I am him. I am the guy you thought I was.
I have a guy, we've got Brian on the phone. We're going to take some calls from you guys. We've got Brian on the phone from Manchester, New Hampshire. He has a question for Scott. So we'll just get the phone in here.
Oh, awesome. An actual live, this technology is amazing. We literally are living in the future. I'm live on the internet taking a phone call from one of you right now. Hey, is this Brian?
It's Brian. How are you, Scott?
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm good. My day just got better.
Right on.
You got a question,
So you got
Brian?
a question for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious. I'm a huge comic book fan. I'm a huge Anthrax fan, and I Am the Law is my favorite song because it kind of intersects things. So I was just wondering who got you guys into Judge Dredd, or if it was the whole band, how that came about.
In case you couldn't hear, Brian is asking, he's a big comic book fan, and he's asking, how did I get into Judge Dredd? Like, how did that happen? And, well, do I hang up now, or do I leave him on? All right, I'll keep you on.
You're sticking in there, Brian.
Judge Dredd, so you, in case you're new to this whole situation, Anthrax had a song called I Am the Law on our Among the Living album from 1987. It's quite a popular song. And, well, I was 22 years old at the time when we were writing that record. And I had taken over writing lyrics for the band on the previous album, Spreading the Disease. And I had never written words to anything in my life before. On that record, I was 21 writing that. And so, what did I know about the world at the time? Because they say, write what you know, right? So what did I know about the world? Well, I knew about the Yankees, and I knew about comic books and Stephen King books, baseball, skateboarding, pizza. I didn't know much. I didn't have much life experience.
All good stuff.
At that young age, because I was a bit of a nerd, and I say that I wear that like a badge of honor. So it's like I wasn't hanging out with girls yet. Just hanging out with other dudes, playing music and reading comics and going to horror movies and all the other stuff. I just going to shows. And so, yeah, I was a major comic book dude. And that's how I found out about Judge Dredd. Just from going to comic shops in New York, I discovered 2000 AD, which was the comic kind of new, almost newspaper kind of thing that they were importing from England at the time, because he's a British comic character. And quickly he became, 2000 AD was like a compilation mag with a lot of different characters in it. And Judge Dredd immediately became my favorite character. And at some point, they started putting out proper comic book versions of the Dredd stories. But yeah, I was a fan from early on. And I just felt like the stories I was reading in Judge Dredd comics just totally lent themselves to heavy metal. Dredd was so metal And I know if you're a metal fan, you kind of understand what that means. He's such a metal character. Yeah. So it just kind of made sense in my brain that I would write lyrics about this guy that was just so awesomely metal. And when Charlie had the initial riffs to I Am the Law, it sounded so anthemic to me, and it just felt like Judge Dredd. It felt big and anthemic and strong and powerful, and it just felt dread, and I knew that that's what that song had to be about. So
Awesome.
Thank you for that question.
I appreciate.
Cheers,
I
man.
appreciate getting the time to talk to you, and still a huge fan of both of Judge Dredd and you guys. And I saw you twice this year, and I think the song got played once. The other time was at Victus in Brooklyn, and we didn't get to
St.
hear it.
Vitus.
Oh, St. Vitus, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
We heard it at House of Blues, so I was all set.
Cool, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
All right, cheers.
Awesome.
Cool.
That was some live.
Look at that, a live phone call. And
yeah.
we might even call some of you out there if we could get that worked out probably. You expect a call from me if you're sending in questions and ordering books. ScottIanBook.com. That's where you go right now to order a book, get your question in. You might get a call from me. Maybe we'll even FaceTime you. How's that? That could be cool. I got my phone right here. I could FaceTime with people out there right now. So
technology.
The wonders of Wi-Fi. So ScottIanBook.com. If you just signed in, order your book, ask questions. We're going to be here talking a whole bunch of crap for a little while.
While the net is still neutral, we can use all these things, equally. So that's all good. More questions from you guys that have already submitted them. This is from Brandon, South Dakota. Who or what got you into playing guitar, and do you plan on playing any other instrumentals?
Playing other instrumental? We haven't had an instrumental in... Am I wrong in saying Across the River from Fistful of Metal was our... We have instrumentals on our albums? Oh, Intro to Reality from Persistence of Time. Yes, there's another one. I don't know that we have any instrumental plans. But you never know, because we haven't started writing really for the next record yet, which, there are ideas kicking around. Charlie's actually sent over some amazing new riffs that really get me excited knowing that, we finished For All Kings, and I go through the same anxiety every record we make, because you work so hard on an album, writing it and then recording it and making sure that it's actually just, this is our thing. It's our baby. It's got to be exactly right. We're not letting anyone... No one gets to hear it. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows anything until that thing is ready. And you work so hard. You put so much of your life and your blood into these things. And then when it's done and it's out there and you go on tour, and eventually the anxiety starts to creep in of, can we do it again? Because sometimes I really feel like, what if that day comes where we've used up our riff quota? Because there is a riff quota. I don't know if people know that. When you start a band, you have to sign all these contracts, and it's like a million things you have to sign off on. And there is a riff quota. And someday, you never know, it could run out.
Cashing it in.
So there's plenty of bands out there where it's kind of obvious when their riff quota ran out. See what I did there? We're not going to name any names, though. But yeah, people right out there right now probably saying, "Yeah, your guys' quota ran out a long time ago." But I always go through that anxiety of what if we're done? What if we get together a year from now and try and start writing a record, and it's just we all stare at each other,
right?
And nothing's happening.
Tell jokes.
But you know what? A couple of weeks ago, I got some riffs from Charlie, and I know that that's not the case, because I've already heard riffs that are better than the last two records. And if you like those last two albums as much as I do, then you'll understand what I'm saying. And it's very exciting to know that the future holds a bunch of super rad creativity for this band. But that was totally not even the question, because you also asked who influence, and that's an easy one. I could just show you, if you could see that. You could all see my tattoo out there. That's Malcolm Young from AC/DC. Of course, I've got Angus on this arm. as well. But Malcolm was the rhythm player of AC/DC, greatest rhythm guitar player of all time. And he was my guitar teacher back in the 1970s. He wasn't coming to my mom's house in Queens and giving me lessons in my bedroom. What
That
I
would
mean,
have been good, though.
That would have been, well, yeah. Imagine I just said, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm going with that. That's
Sydney,
my story.
Queens.
It was amazing. He was flying over once a week to give me
Acorns.
lessons because he knew someday I would be in Anthrax and
Yeah.
and we would cover a whole lot of Rosie live, and I needed to know how to play it properly.
Yeah, there was a meeting.
But I would sit with my AC/DC records on the turntable and sit and, put Down Payment Blues and just keep putting the needle back to the start of the song until I learned the chords. And I would do that with the songs over and over again until I knew, up until that point, around 77, 78. So up until Power Age at that point, just sitting with those records, Let There Be Rock and Power Age and the live album, If You Want Blood, and just on and on and on. High Voltage, over and over again, learning the chords. And that's how I learned how to play. Malcolm's right hand was just so percussive and amazingly tight, and the way he would dig in playing those chords, I just tried to imitate him as much as I could, and that's how I learned how to play guitar, really. So he was my biggest influence.
Don't you think it's been great the last, say, 5, 6, 7 years that the vinyl thing is coming back?
Oh,
That
yeah.
People are...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I never would have answered that question, with a yes. Not even that long ago. Like if, let's say, even 10 years ago or something, someone would have said, do you think vinyl's ever coming back? I'd be like, are you crazy? No, that was the first one to die of, the formats way back when people stopped buying vinyl, at least here in America. Overseas, it kind of, European metal fans still always wanted their stuff on vinyl.
Yeah. It's the experience of that whole thing, especially with your... the band artwork is so elaborate and so in depth, and it's just being able to.
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
I mean, as we're talking, I'm going to pull this up and show everybody. You just mentioned artwork, so you may or may not have seen this online recently. It's the cover for our upcoming DVD called Kings Among Scotland, coming out in April of 2018.
Yeah.
And because you were mentioning artwork, and talk about a piece of art that deserves to be big, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe we will do, granted I just said this is going to be a DVD cover, but I'm hoping that we will maybe do some kind of limited edition vinyl of, like, let's just say the audio.
The audio, yeah. Well,
From
people
the
have
concert.
asked for that.
So
people have asked for
because here it is, I finally found it. I'll hold it up, whether or not anyone's going to be able to
Maybe
see that.
from
I
the
don't
other
know.
camera.
But
Yeah,
anyway, if you could see it, it's online, you can find it. Just Google Kings Among Scotland,
Yeah.
Anthrax, and the artwork is so amazing.
the Anthrax
And
sessions.
Gene Simmons actually gave us permission to use it, which makes it even cooler.
For all those people making comments about that, don't worry, it's been sorted.
Yes.
All right, Scott, how about you sign a couple more books?
Sure.
And I'll fire off some questions from previously submitted. In order to get a question in, I mean, you can do them now online. These are people that have ordered a book already on scottyandbook.com. Again, weirdest experience on stage. Let's skip that.
Answered already.
Who has the best beard? You, Kerry King, or Zach Wilde?
Oh, that's easy. Zach. I think Zach's is by far he's got the All-Father Odin beard. It's his beard, and I kind of touch on this in the book in a story about beards and people getting their hands in my beard without permission.
Don't try that.
Zach's beard is it's like a bridge cable.
Yeah.
It's like Zach's beard is like the ropes that they use to tie up cruise ships to the dock.
The Viking sails.
Like it's literally it's quite impressive. You could literally swing like Tarzan from that beard. So I would say Zach wins. It's even better than Billy Gibbons.
This is a great question. Eric from Kentucky. Scott, what went through your mind the first time you held an Anthrax album in your hands?
Who the hell let us in here, and how did this happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for real, making the first album was, I have to say, that's the hardest one because you don't know that you're ever going to get to make an album. So like back then, it wasn't like now where you could record into your computer and make an album. Back then, you actually had to have somebody with money or a record label, something to put you in a studio and record and master it and get it pressed. It was a whole process that existed back then to make records. And so it seemed like such an impossibility. And you're writing songs and you're trying to impress people with these songs you're writing and nobody cares. And then you find the one little light at the end of the tunnel, and his name was Johnny Z. And after basically harassing him for a solid 2 years, he finally caved and agreed to sign us to his then brand new record label called Megaforce, which signed Anthrax and Metallica and Raven, and decided he wanted to make a record with Anthrax. He thought we were good enough. But to get to that point, like those 3 years before that of us just trying to get anyone to pay attention to us, it just seems completely impossible. Yet in the face of that impossibility, you just keep banging your head against that wall. Nothing would stop us.
Yeah.
It was really just us being unbelievably tenacious and just really not understanding what the word no meant ever.
That's what it takes.
So that whole thing, the idea that we were even now signed to a label seemed like such an amazing thing because somebody actually cared enough and was going to put their money where their mouth was.
Yeah.
Then we were in the studio actually recording the album in like a proper recording studio. And then you've got this thing in your hands, an album with a cover on it and liner notes and thank yous. And it's just unbelievable. Like standing there holding that first record, it just was an unbelievable moment. Like, how the hell did this happen?
And that was a few years. I mean, you guys were in the genesis of this. That was a few years before metal itself had sort of taken off, selling millions of copies and selling out, the places, 6,000,
Sure.
7,000. This is kind of before it really hit big, right?
Fistful of Metal came out in January of '84. And we went on our first tour that summer, in the summer of '84, supporting Raven.
Yeah.
And then it was the last show of that run in New York City at the Roseland Ballroom, where Metallica got added to that gig. So it was Anthrax, Metallica, Raven that night in New York City. And on the back of that show, because it sold out, like whatever it was, 3,500 tickets, which at the time was unheard of for 3 so-called unsigned bands. Even though we were all on Megaforce, we were considered to be unsigned bands because we were on an indie metal label. We weren't on a major label at the time. And nobody was doing anything. Like Twisted Sister before us, years before us, they were doing the same thing, kind of everything, just super independently. And they were selling out insane shows in New York until finally the major labels came sniffing around and signed them. But we were playing, obviously, a much more aggressive style of heavy metal than Twisted Sister was. So even for us, it was even more unheard of. And we sell out this show. And then that night, on the back of that show, we signed to Island Records, Metallica signed to Elektra, and Raven signed to Atlantic. All 3 bands got scooped up immediately by the majors after that. And, the rest is history. But yeah, even at that point in '84, '85, '86, it still wasn't big. Yeah. We were all doing okay in the underground. Metallica being the biggest, Metallica getting that Ozzy support slot in '86 when they were on Master of Puppets opening for Ozzy in the States. That certainly was one of those moments that's giant door that we were trying to kick down. Metallica put a big dent in that door opening for Ozzy and taking, thrash metal to the masses, because now suddenly you have Metallica out there in front of 15,000 people every night and just slaying them.
Yeah.
Opening for Ozzy. And of course then there's the trickle down of, okay, all these people are exposed to thrash metal for their first time. They go out and they get Master of Puppets, they get Ride the Lightning, they get Kill 'Em All, and then they want more.
What else you got?
Okay, what else you got? Oh, Spreading the Disease is out. Fistful of Metal, Hell Awaits,
Yeah.
I don't know if Rain and Blood had come out, but it was about to come out. Peace Sells, Killing Is My Business. We were all there at that same time. And then so by '87, we're putting out Among the Living in '87. we go on tour for that record. We started that tour playing to 500 people in clubs. It's like sold out, but like 500 to 800, seat places.
Yeah.
That was in like May of 87. And by December of 87, on that same run, Among the Living, we were playing to 5,000 to 10,000 people just 8 months. 8 months later.
Yeah, that's how...
It blew up.
Yeah, amazing.
And 87 was the year where what we were doing, the four of us, the big four, 87 was the year it really blew up.
Amazing. Scott, we've got Mark from San Jose on the line.
Awesome. Mark from San Jose.
Not far. Californian sun.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Scott? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just having a little Christmas party with the family.
Right on. And talking to me live on the internet.
I know, it's pretty rad. Pretty rad. Unexpected surprise for today. That's awesome.
Cool. You got a question for us?
Cool. Yeah. So, I know you're a big music collector, much like myself. So I wanted to know, what is your most prized, either like vinyl or tape or CD in your collection?
Wow. Most prized vinyl tape or CD in my collection. You're getting a phone call from
For those
somebody.
that didn't hear that question, it's Scott's a collector, lover of music. What's his most prized vinyl tape or CD in a collection?
I'd probably have to go with... I have all the Kiss records from the first album through Alive 2. Actually, even more. I have all the Kiss records, first album through Alive 2, the solo albums, and the originals, that Kiss Originals thing they put out. I have first edition vinyls of all that stuff. I will admit though, I have my original, I have the ones I bought as a kid, but a lot of those got so destroyed over the years because I played them and I just, and I just constantly looking at them over the years, the covers and the inner sleeves and stuff, and would get destroyed, and I would hang the posters on my walls, and the stickers that came with Rock and Roll Over were stuck on the door of my room. And so at some point in the 90s at one of those Kiss conventions, I treated myself and I rebought all of that stuff in great condition on vinyl, and it's all in plastic sleeves, and they don't come out. I'll play the old ones, but the new ones don't get touched.
Yeah, I hear you. I have an unopened Zeppelin 2 from the 70s that's going to stay unopened.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I have all my vinyl from the 70s and 80s, but like I said, none of it's unopened because I played the shit out of all of it. So I do have a lot of Anthrax vinyl, from the 80s. Unopened stuff that just sits in storage, and I should probably check on it because at this point it's probably all warped. But I've got a ton of Anthrax vinyl. Just I even have remember CD long boxes when CDs first came out?
Yeah.
They're rule.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all the Anthrax CDs from back then in the CD long boxes, and I mean that's something that's so weird. People, if you showed that to some people now, people obviously who weren't old enough, they'd be like, "What the hell is that thing?"
Yeah, what is that thing, right?
Yeah.
Give me that. We should take photos of these.
But anyway, man, it's good to talk to you, and have a great holiday.
Hey, likewise. Thanks a lot, man. Best to you and your family.
No worries. Cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome. All right. So let's get a couple more of those done.
Yeah, let's throw another plug in. It's ScottIanBook.com. If you just tuned in, I'm here live signing my new book, Scott Ian, Access All Areas, Stories from a Hard Rock Life. I'm signing them for you. A lot of you out there already ordered these books. You submitted questions. You could go to ScottIanBook.com. You could order the book right now. I'm going to sign it for you. You can submit questions. That's what we're doing right now, me and Rohan. And while we're doing that, we're gonna pour a drink. Since Mark from San Jose was so kind enough to remind me that it's holiday season and he was having a holiday party, I think we're gonna dig in a little bit of this on a Sunday afternoon.
This is good timing actually. Eileen from Texas has asked, what would you account for the secret of your longevity and the band in the music industry? Notorious.
A whole lot of Fernet Branca. I've been drinking this since I was 7. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'd be in really good shape. What do I say that again?
The secret to the see,
Yeah,
well,
I
maybe
need some
that answers
Fernet
that.
to fix my memory.
The secret of the longevity of yourself and the band in the music industry. You know, it's treacherous at the best of times, but Anthrax and Scott, you managed to navigate your way to
the secret to that is in my new book, Access All Areas, Stories from a Hard Rock Life. The actual secret on how to make it in the music business, how to write songs that people will like, how to make it your living and your life's work. It's all in here. But that would be in the fictional part of the, because there is no secret.
No.
If there was a secret, I would write it in a book and sell it. I would have an actual infomercial, and I'd go around like Tony Robbins and it, just like a lot of those guys, I would go on tour and make millions of dollars talking bullshit.
Yeah.
Because there is no secret. There's no way to plan it or know. All we've ever done from day one was just worked as hard as we can to be the best band we could be. And by saying that, I mean the band that we think is the best Anthrax we could be, that the guys in this band are fans of and that love and that want to be a part of and that have fun in.
Yeah.
You know, because it has been, I've been doing this for 36 years now, 36 years ago. And it really is a case of just doing your best, trying your best in the early days to write songs that made any sense and getting better at your craft and really discovering what Anthrax sounds like and then running with that. You find what you like. You write a song and if there's a couple of songs in the early days I could like pinpoint back that for me, like off of Fistful of Metal, there's the song Death Rider. On Spreading the Disease, there's like AIR, which Charlie brought in late in the recording of that because that song probably would have ended up on Among the Living. But luckily enough, we were able to like reset up the drums and record that song, and it made it onto Spreading the Disease. So like AIR and Madhouse, Gung Ho, like from that record, and then certainly we were Indians and I Am the Law, like those two songs from Among. We were already playing those songs live on the Spreading the Disease tour. So it was like around that time in '86 when I think we really found out who we were.
Right.
And then you just know it. You just feel it. You're like, these are the songs we're supposed to play. This is Anthrax.
That's your language.
Yeah, and you find that. And then you work as hard as you can to maintain it. And you work as hard as you can to be the best live band you could be. Even in the early days, even like before we had any of our own songs, like 1981, and we used to show up and we would cover Maiden and Priest and Motorhead and Saxon and all this stuff, playing like Saxon songs, thinking that no one's even going to know who this is. They'll just think it's our originals.
Yeah.
And but getting on stage and headbanging as hard as we could and moving around as much as we could, thinking that, all right, if we're super, super crazy on stage, it'll kind of take away, it'll hide the fact that maybe we're not so good yet. So if we're going crazy, people will pay attention to that and they won't worry too much about the fact that we're covering Iron Maiden and not so well. But, it's just, that's the secret. The secret is working your ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know maybe people don't want to hear that, but that's what it is. Malcolm Gladwell has a thing about putting in 10,000 hours. How about 100,000 hours?
Right.
I mean, it really is, that's what it is.
Yeah. So
and on that note.
There you go. Do some work.
And then you get to write a book like this about all the ridiculous things that happen along the way when you've been in a band for 36 years. And cheers to that.
Cheers. Cheers, cheers. Congrats. Now, I know there's going to be about 600 comments saying, where's the Coke, where's the Coke? No Coke.
Specifically, all our friends in Argentina. We don't drink it with Coca-Cola here in America. We just drink it straight. That's because then you actually taste the Fernet.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can just have some Coke. Scott, what's your favorite song to play live? This is a good one because there are...
Yeah.
As you mentioned, though, Anthrax songs that became your language, there are a real great collection now of fan favorites.
The easy answer to that is Caught in a Mosh, because I would think someone will probably prove me wrong in the comments or on the internet somehow. But I want to say that Caught in a Mosh is the one song that since it's come out, since 1987, I don't think it's ever been out of our set. I'd be hard-pressed to remember a time where we didn't play Caught in a Mosh. So, and someone right now is probably like got a set list somewhere.
Website.
But
I'll check it out.
even if that's not the case, and there were some legs of tours where we didn't play it, it's certainly a song that's been consistently in the set the most. And there's a reason for that, because it might be our favorite song to play. It's just such a signature song for this band. Everything about it, from the title to the feeling, the emotion, the vibe, the energy that song brings. I mean, you just know what's going to happen when that song kicks off. It's just, it's that predictable in an awesome way.
Yeah.
So Caught in a Mosh. But also, at the same time, of course, I always prefer to play new material on tour, because they're the newest, freshest songs. So stuff off For All Kings, certainly, right now, because... playing Blood Eagle Wings, or we just added all of them Thieves into the set on the last run. And anytime we're playing a song we've hardly played, it's super exciting, because it's so new, and it still feels so new, and you're still learning what to do with it.
Right.
Over the years, songs evolve live, and so with the new stuff, we're still even learning really how to play those songs, and of course that makes it even more exciting every night.
Right. I get a lot of requests online from all you guys for the title track, so,
For All Kings.
throwing that in there.
That is absolutely one that I want to play live. I think it's such an anthem, and certainly coming up in 2018, it will make its way into the set. My goal is to play every song on For All Kings at some point live, because every song absolutely deserves it.
Yeah.
If not, even at some point, maybe at the end of the cycle, even get to do some shows where we play the album front to back, because
How's that?
I would love to do that.
Yeah. There's some awesome news for all you guys that ask often about the songs that are on that new record and how good they are, and you want to hear them live. There is dates already up through to the start of March, I believe.
Yeah, Killthrax 2.
Yep.
2. The first leg went so well, we got a sequel.
Yep.
We get to tour with our bros, some of the best guys to ever go on tour with. That's why we're doing it again. And obviously, people seem to like it because they came out in droves.
The people like it.
The people have spoken, and we're doing it again, starting January 25th.
All right, so you see this. This is hopefully this will be on sale at the store, because this is rad. But it's 22 questions in 2 minutes.
Wow.
Are you
Hold on.
ready?
Hold on, I need a drink.
Right, yeah, let's do this.
You want me to set a timer?
I got it.
Oh, you got it?
It's being timed. All right.
Actually, I'm going to set the timer right on my phone, so it'll go off right when it's time. Let me turn the sound on and turn it up, so it'll shut me up at 2 minutes. All right, you tell me when.
Okay, let's go. Who inspires you most?
AC/DC.
Who would you like to trade places with if you could?
Oh my God. I don't know. Pass.
Who makes you laugh the most?
Seinfeld.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Me.
What's your guilty pleasure?
I don't believe in guilty pleasures. If you like something, you like something.
What's the one thing do you need to have in your fridge at all times?
In my fridge at all times?
Has to be there.
Beer.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I'm a frustrated drummer.
What's your dream car?
Dodge Demon.
See, muscle. Who was the last person you text with?
The last person I texted with?
Yeah.
I just wrote Gene Simmons.
What's your favorite pastime?
My favorite pastime? Oh my God, that's a tough one. Right now, I'll say watching movies, because we saw Star Wars last night.
You're right. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear, something happening to a loved one.
What item would you love to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
Oh my gosh. The Batmobile.
Which era?
So dumb.
Which era?
60s Batmobile.
Awesome. What's your pet
25
peeve?
seconds left.
Pet peeve.
My pet peeve? Oh my God, there's so many of them.
This is too long.
Things out of place.
How do you take your coffee?
Black.
Last album you bought?
Last album I bought, we bought a brand new Number of the Beast on really heavy vinyl.
Last movie, already answered it.
Star Wars.
Color of your toothbrush?
Black.
Last book you read?
Mine.
What's your middle name?
Ian.
Who?
That's it. 2 minutes.
It's over.
It didn't. Oh, that's right, because I put a stopwatch. 2
Right.
minutes. How many did I miss?
3.
Damn it.
But, they weren't too... it was all right to miss them.
Who would I like to trade places with?
Yeah, let's go back to that.
That's an interesting question.
Meaning that they would be the rhythm guitarist in Anthrax and you would be...
Oh, I wasn't even thinking. God, that makes it even harder.
Well, trade places. I mean,
They have
you're
to
Dan
come.
Aykroyd.
Right.
They're Eddie Murphy.
Right. They would have to come do my job too. So
Yeah. They're on the tray with the...
So then right now I would actually say Stevie Young, because if AC/DC moves forward and does another record or show, and I'm not talking about for all time, but I would love to play one show, even one song with AC/DC if I could ever do that. Be able to stand on stage and play rhythm guitar on Riff Raff. Not that I'm picky or anything, but if I could play Riff Raff with AC/DC, that would kind of be the moment.
You have the guitar for it.
I do, but it's actually not here now because I would have busted it out already, believe me. But because of the fires recently, I had to get it out of the house.
Yeah, it was a crazy time last week.
Cheers to Malcolm and Stevie Young and Angus while we're at it.
And everyone.
And Axel for being amazing in AC/DC. And Cliff, here's to Cliff Williams coming out of retirement.
All our heroes.
To do AC/DC again, and maybe even getting, what if they got Phil Rudd back? Nothing against Chris Slade. He's a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
But, if Phil was to come back, that could, right? It could be awesome, right?
It could be amazing. I'm glad bands like that are still around, and a band like AC/DC that we all love still out there doing it. It's you've got to support your heroes, Does the job of an album tour cycle ever get boring? That's from Lewis in Arizona.
No. Well, I'll tell you what does get boring, because I'm going to be honest. Traveling gets boring. Sitting around all day waiting for the show gets boring. That's you quickly discover on tour why so many people in bands all these years going back to whenever touring started, why you hear about people turning to drugs, because sometimes the boredom is unbelievable. As a person who's never been involved in that kind of stuff, you find other ways to use your time,
Right.
whether it's creative or literally reading. Back in the 80s, I used to carry around like 6 hardcover books in my backpack just on tour because...
Stephen King?
Yeah, everything. Stephen, you name it, I was reading it. And now, of course, with being able to read books on your phone, it makes it much easier. But I tend to, on tour, I'll get a lot of reading done. These days, I'll catch up on a lot of amazing television shows, when I'm on tour. So, but yeah, sitting around all day, that hurry up and wait time all day long tends to get really boring. Sometimes you go take a walk in whatever city you're in, you find something to do. But the shows themselves, man, that's like Christmas and birthday and Happy New Year and
All at once.
all of that combined every night.
Yeah.
The time on stage is sacred. And that's something for me that is still so much fun. It outweighs any possible negative there would be about being on tour. Getting to play shows in front of people is still, it's the reason to be there.
Metal. Awesome. So Scott's signing some books live. For all you guys that have bought them or are buying them now, these are the copies you'll be getting. And they're shipping from tomorrow, so that'll be good. They'll be out in the world. Let's see what else we got. There was a really cool one about a limited edition Stephen King book, but I'll find that again in a minute.
Ooh, is it something that I don't have that somebody wants
The
to give me?
Cemetery edition of...
Cemetery Gates edition?
Yeah.
They're a company that does lots of really cool limited edition horror stuff.
It was... but...
No worries.
In the meantime, I will ask you... This is a really good one. At the meet and greet tour of your spoken word, you were drinking, is it 3 Floyd's Zombie Dust?
Yes, 3 Floyd Zombie Dust from Indiana.
Have you tried their Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout?
Yes, I have. 3 Floyds is one of my favorite breweries. It's super hard to get out here on the West Coast, but luckily enough, I've got some friends there, and they're kind enough to ship some out every once in a while.
Awesome.
So, yeah, they make great beer.
That's a really metal name, by the way.
You should see their
Russian Imperial.
Oh my God!
Stout.
Well, they're a metal company. They're all about metal. They do Dark Lord Day every year, and they have metal bands come and play at the brewery. It sells out in advance every year, and check out 3 Floyds online. All their artwork on their bottles and cans and whatnot, super metal. It's great.
That's
all
cool.
great.
There's more. What was your weirdest? I mean, there's something about people asking what was your weirdest thing. I think they want to be shocked, but there's a few.
That's what the book is for. All the weirdest, craziest, dumbest, idiotic, over the top.
Yeah.
All that stuff is in here. That's why it's called Access All Areas, because it truly is. See, that's what the cover is trying to convey here. It's me standing in front of a backstage door to a venue. And I'm smiling because I'm going to let you in and take a peek behind the curtain. And that's what this book is.
There's an amazing Paul Stanley backstage access story. I don't know if we'll have time to mention it, but Scott, we've got Lisa from Santa Rosa on the line, and she actually has an interesting situation for you.
Okay.
So, what do we got?
All right, coming. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How about for you?
Good.
I'm Lisa, and my 14-year-old son Ben is here. He's been a lifelong Anthrax fan because his mommy is.
Right on.
And we love you. And we just recently lost our home in the
Oh my God!
fire.
Yeah, the fires.
We lost. Crazy, right?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Well, we lost all our Anthrax stuff, and I had 2 questions for you. The first one is, are you coming to the North Bay anytime soon? Didn't see any scheduled dates yet. Ben and I need to get our stuff going on. We gotta catch some pics and get a set list.
Yeah, well, not on this next run because we did play San Francisco on the first Killthrax run, but there will be Bay Area dates. Somewhere, let's say between May and July for sure, because there will be something else happening this year in the States, and so then yes, we will be coming.
Yeah, Lisa.
Super cool. We caught you when you were here earlier. We catch you every time, and we even follow you as best we can.
Right on. Well, thank you.
Lisa, email me through the site.
Wait, hold on. Lisa, hold on 1 second.
Lisa, email me through the website, anthrax.com, and then I'll keep in touch with you and make sure that you know the dates, and we'll look after you there.
Oh, I definitely will do that. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Right on.
If we had tons of time, definitely, Scotty, we would have got our Anthrax stuff in the car. We didn't. We barely got out of there with our clothes on our back. My question for you is, what would you grab if you had time and you knew? What would you grab? I mean, I looked at all my stuff, and all I could think about was birth certificate, nursing life.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to grab that stuff. We just went through it, of course, not with the same ending as you, but where we live in Los Angeles, we were in the path of a fire just recently, and our car was packed because we were going to wake up in the morning and find out if we were evacuating. And obviously, other than the safety of myself and my wife and my son, we packed up some paperwork. And I had already gotten my guitars out of the house. I had someone come and pick up all the guitars I had here. And then I packed up some books, and we packed up some photographs, and really that was it. We were ready to go.
Yeah. Well, I know there's like no right answer. I wish I could have got photographs too, like that. Thing that's pissing me off.
Well, just make sure to stay in touch with Rohan through the site, and when we do come, we'll make sure to get you into the meet and greet, and we'll take care of you.
Absolutely.
Love you, Scotty. My 14-year-old wants to say hi to you. Lifelong fan, honestly, before the womb.
Cool.
Say hi. Just say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
It's going well. We're just sitting here talking a lot of crap and having fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I can't wait to get your book. I ordered one.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Take care.
All right. Cheers.
Take care, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's crazy.
So yeah, I'm sure you guys would have seen what's been happening in California and stuff, and it's so close to people's homes and actually took people's homes and everything. It's been an amazingly weird last few weeks, and I think it's still going near Montecito Inn and everything.
Yes.
So all the best, and
Yeah. Good luck and stay safe.
firefighters
For real.
and looking after us all. So yeah. So we'll sign a few more books. We've done this. Do you call them bookmarks here?
Yeah, bookmarks.
Yeah.
What are they called in Australia?
Bookmark.
Oh. It's totally
go.
different.
Okay, I think that's it. We'll sign off here, and Scott can sign the rest of these and see whatever else is online, and maybe a few questions on the in the comment section.
What? Where can they buy the book?
Yeah.
I'm getting asked by the live audience here in my house.
Yeah.
You could buy the book at scottianbook.com, and even after this broadcast is no longer live, you could go to Scott Ian if you're just hankering for an autographed copy of my book. scottianbook.com is where you can get it. And have a great holiday. What a perfect holiday gift, right? For the metal fan, or not even, because you don't necessarily need to be into metal to enjoy this. It's just a lot of really funny stuff in here.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys on tour.
Yes, thank you guys. Cheers. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to everybody.